after.
Sorry guys, I pressed the record button earlier, but apparently it didn't work. So
We're here.
yeah, at least we caught it now.
All right, it's working now, right, Darcy?
Yeah, sorry, like I pressed it when you asked, but it didn't work. But sorry, go ahead, guys. It's
Do you need to start over? Do you want to do like an intro again so you have it?
sure, yeah, let's just do a quick intro. So hey everybody, this is Darcy Daniel, and we're here with Bad Girls Club Positivity, BGC Inc. And we've got Nikki from Bad Girls Club Season 6. We're gonna spill all the tea, get into all the gossip. And so sorry guys, we got cut off a little bit earlier. So we're just diving into Red's question. So Red, you just go ahead and follow up with what you guys were talking about.
Okay, so Char pulled you aside and she decided to just squash the beef with you. And you knew that you didn't even have to talk to the other girls about it because apparently they were gonna all just fall in line anyways once they realized that Char squashed the beef with you, early on. And but my question was, when Sydney wanted to do that, how come she made it a big deal with Sydney?
I think at that point it was a battle of the egos, and I think by her having an opinion on it, I think it was just more of like, been there, done that. And honestly, like, even though I like wasn't really friends with Char at that point in the house, everybody wanted to truly be there, and it didn't seem like she wanted to be there. Again, not my place to tell her to like leave or stay or go. So I agree it was a little bit off, that it was like, to your point, why was it okay in the first place, but the second time around it was like that. The second thing that I have is that she was probably more afraid of me than she was of Sydney. I don't know, like maybe even playing field.
So when you walked in, was there a lot of like how did production go about it? Do you feel like they kind of wanted you to like play a role? Were you forced to do anything really? Like,
no, I wouldn't say that anybody is forced to do anything, but at the end of the day, like, I'm a very observant person. Like, you're going to be on reality television. There's storylines. There's things that you have a personality. They're going to try to embellish that personality. So if you weren't like aware of that going into the house, I feel like you like hung your own self. You know what I mean? Like, production didn't have to do anything. Like, you just walked in, you kind of did whatever, and then your role kind of followed suit. So when it came to like me specifically coming into the house, I don't feel that I was forced to do anything or was pressured to do anything at all. Not many people actually know this, but we only had the limo 2 days a week. So if we wanted to go out of the house, we needed to have a DD. I was the DD 5 days a week. Like, I didn't mind driving. It was just, I wanted to get out of the house, I wanted to do my own thing. So if you didn't want to be the drunk one or the one that forgot everything all the time, then you didn't have to be. Like, it was okay.
so how do you feel about your edit? Like, just in general, do you think that it was like pretty genuine?
I mean, there's certain things about what they're going to show is going to be more of whatever that character is or whatever that embellishment is. But when people like come back and say, oh, that wasn't me, and like, I didn't do that, I literally asked them, I'm like, you were recorded. How was that not you that did that? So like, it's your character. It's like you didn't see me steal on television. I'm not somebody who steals, right? Like, they couldn't formulate that from the story. Are there a couple times where I literally leave the house with like my hair blown out and dry and come back with like wet curls? Yes, there are times where I'm like, that was not the same night. I was wearing the same dress, but it wasn't the same night. So there are times where that stuff will happen. But from like a character standpoint, I was annoying as hell in that house. I totally did it on purpose. Like, I'm living with 7 people. We have no TV. We have no internet. Of course I'm gonna fuck around with you. Like, I'm going.
What else are you gonna do?
Right. Like
literally. Yeah.
We weren't picked to be on a show to be boring. And we weren't picked on a show to sit there and do nothing in the house. Towards the end, collectively, we were just like over it. We were like, I don't want to fucking fight today. I really just don't. Like, that's why.
Well, how long did you film for, Shelly? Or sorry, how long did you film for?
We filmed, God, from end of August through end of November. So we were there for almost like 3 months.
That must have been a lot.
It's definitely, I mean, in the moment, I didn't feel like it was that bad. When I think about TV shows today and how fast they're filmed like literally in 30 days. Like, they'll make all the content in 30 days or less, 45 days or less. So I think an element of our length of show is a big factor in just like general annoyance and like you're just like, you're done. People
quarter of a year they used to do a lot of those shows, right? So it's a lot. Like it's not just you wake up every day and want to fight this girl. It's like months of build up, right?
months of build up, and then you have to think about, you know, the add-ons or the replacement people, like, and of course you have to engage with them. If it was up to us, we would just be like, hey, we're good. Welcome to the shit show.
So before we do the cast thing, I wanted to ask you two separate questions. One, were you ever asked to do any of the other shows? If so, which ones?
I was actually offered or asked to do Love Games right after. There was talk of like a Bad Girls Boot Camp and yada yada.
Bad
But
Girls Boot Camp? Wait, give me a little tea on that, girl.
there was talk of like maybe doing something that was like athletic based and blah blah, but it wasn't ever anything that ever came to fruition. I think the speed in which they really filmed after like season 8 was just back to back to back, and they got to what, 20 seasons and they were done with it. I just feel like it was, I don't want to say played out, but like how many times can you watch somebody throw food in somebody's bed and then be like, oh my God, no way, they didn't fight them, like, you know. So, and then what was the second question?
The other question was, so we know that you have dabbled in the WWE world. So my other question is, were you offered anything outside of like Buna Murray as far as like, because you know they had that Total Divas on E, and like you did like she researches. I saw that you know you had your little time in the ring. So like, what happened with that? Were you offered any other shows?
Yeah, so right after that, I was actually asked to do, and I think it was season 1, or it was one of the beginning seasons of American Ninja Warrior. But at the time, I literally had just had hip surgeries, and I wasn't going to sign up for something that required extreme amount of athleticism for something that was not going to like really further my career. Aside from that, I did do WWE extra work. Living in Miami, I got to know a couple different wrestlers that were locals of our gym and really great people. And obviously put in a great word plus my resume, and it was a great opportunity to go try out for them. It was a 3-day tryout, and it was really fun. It just wasn't my thing. Like I wasn't passionate about it. And if anybody's into wrestling, like you don't go in like 50%. You are 150% in as a fan, as a wrestler, and naming every wrestler from the 90s, and you can do it, right? So I just didn't feel that it would have been an appropriate move. And why would I take that from somebody else who had that? So I would say I've definitely, when I was on a show to support Lauren, she was on some MTV dating show at one point, and so I was on there to support.
I think it's called The Hook or something, right? It was called The Hook.
It was.
Really?
And Jade was on there with her too, but that episode's lost footage. I can't find it anywhere.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any questions for Nikki before we do like the cast thing?
Yeah,
I have when
right.
Nikki, when you bring up your surgery in regards to like being off a Ninja Warrior, you getting surgery on your hip or something. That's exactly why you feel like you wasn't cast on an All-Star battle, right? Like because of
Correct. And that was something that I talked about. It was just, there was no way, like anatomically, like there was no way, there would be no point. So, but yeah, no, that was exactly the reason. It was definitely a weird time. Like I had just started my new job, had to take a leave of absence. That was annoying. That was stressful. It was still good to be asked, you know what I mean? Like it was cool to be like, hey.
I honestly, now that I think about it, I've never actually thought about you not being on that show. But like revisiting it now, I'm like, you know, because you would have been perfect. Like you and Rocky, I think, would have just like, it would have been you two at the end just battling it out.
Oh, totally. Like, and again, I'm not like, if they were to ask me in today's world, my answer would be very different. Like, I'm an established professional bodybuilder. Like, I'm a personal trainer. Like, my athleticism is on a completely different level at this point, you know, plus I'm rehab from my surgeries. But yeah, I love seeing all the other like athletic bad girls. I'm like, yes, yeah, nope, wouldn't want to be paired with them.
See, I think that's a positive way to do it too, because now it's so much forced where all these girls, it's just fighting. Like, let's bring back the day where like you do stuff like that, where it's a competition show.
Yeah,
and like it's fun. And
even though we like argued in the house and stuff like that, like we genuinely liked each other as people. We might not have messed with them in real life, we might not have been friends with them in real life, but like we went through an experience together, and that's something that very few, I mean, one of 20 seasons, and then you know, ever will be able to go through. So like don't ruin it with just like nonsensical fighting every single day. It just like doesn't matter.
So Red, I think you had a question, right?
Yeah, I did. So Nikki, I was wondering if you feel like if Ashley's friends came in the house, like if they never came in the house, would she ended up sticking up for herself naturally, or was it forced that day because her friends were there and then, you know?
I think that Ashley would have defended herself regardless. I really do. Do I think it was a little bit easier because you had your own friends in the house? Of course. If I had friends in the house, I would talk shit too. Like,
but then when I look back at it, it looks like she only knew like one of them maybe,
yeah,
and
like,
then
that's why
they
like
brought their friends.
That's kind of just like, let's not do this, please. Let's not do this. I'm not getting into a fight with like I remember being in the kitchen, like I'm not trying to get into a fight with people you don't.
Yeah.
We don't know. Like I feel that it was more of like a power move as far as being like a television thing, but I do think that she still would have defended herself with all,
Yeah.
her and Corey were very similar. Like they liked the same things. They were super into
Yeah.
beauty. If I needed brow questions because this lady waxed mine off right before I got on the show, like, dude, no joke, there was like blogs about my eyebrows. I was mortified. I'm like, dude, I knew it. The person might get my eyebrows waxed are gonna be missing, and here we go. Anyway, so Corey and Ashley were like the same person. Fashion, this, that. They were my go-tos. And so when they were fighting, I'm like, damn it, you are fighting yourself.
Yeah, but yeah, in regards to that cast, we're gonna get to that. So the first girl we're gonna start off with would be Jessica. But before we ask your thoughts on her, speaking of her, like I'm pretty sure you're probably aware of this by now, like how like in regards to a cast, like she was one of the few cast members that like after the show she just like basically like hid away due to like reasons that had to do with like her brother's marriage getting ruined and so on. Do you know if like she's okay today? And
I do actually. I had gotten her number, so weird. And she's always been this type, like her number has always changed over the years. But honestly, within the last probably 12 or 14 months, I've actually spoken to her. We had a phone call and there was like texting back and forth, but I got her number from like a super fan who knew like one of her relatives' pages that I had written to, because I'm like, hey dude, like I always liked her. Day one. We were friends from the minute we started. But so I do think that she's cool. I believe that she has kids now. Maybe I don't know if I think it's more than one. Yeah, and it's reality television, man. Like again, it's just one of those things, like you can't take back physical actions that occurred. You can't reverse time and be like, that didn't happen. It did happen.
yeah,
As much as I would like to say like the show ruined their family, I can't agree with that. He didn't have to go on the show. Like if
yeah,
that was the thing that was a potential, don't go on the show.
That is
yeah,
very fair, I think.
yeah,
Also
Or
rewatching it,
being fed.
I rewatched it, and I don't think that Jessica had a bad edit. I don't think even for her brother, I don't think the edit was that bad.
I don't either. And the reality of it is like it's funny I'm like just rewatching Jersey Shore because they're coming out with a new season, okay? And it's funny, like Ronnie every other episode was just like, oh, it didn't happen. Oh, I'm sorry. And it's like you realize as you're doing it, there's not only a camera in front of you, but it's going to be played again.
Like Sydney.
That's my point. And so in that case, you can't fix stupid. You know what I mean? Like I don't have sympathy. So no, Jessica is okay. I love her dearly. I would be so open to a friendship. Our lives are just so different and in different places. She's a mom, I'm not. Like she lives in a different state. But no, I don't really have beef with anybody. Like in
yeah.
her reunion, as you saw the reunion, I was chilling. Like,
Because I remember seeing a post where like BGC Obsessed, because BGC Obsessed is a huge fan of theirs, so I remember he posted like an update of you and Jen linking up, and one of the slides where was like him suggesting that the fans are ready for a season 6 reunion, and he mentioned only if we could find Jessica. But then I remember you said like you speak to her often and she just doesn't give a fuck. Like what did you mean by like she doesn't care? Like meaning like
Never did.
No, she never cared about anything with social media related or to keep up with like the image or wanting to be a reality television star. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't her thing. Like I didn't go on the show with the intention of being a reality TV star. It was just like a chapter. Of course, some people do it way harder than others. And of course, the situation with her brother, I think probably, and I'm assuming here, her family was like, don't get into that shit again because look what already happened. I'm sure of it. But you know, it sucks, you know, we did something cool together, and like I do believe that her and not everybody have spoken, which again, it's her choice. But yeah, I love her, you know, she's my buddy.
Well, let's move on to the next girl, because it's a double party question. Is I want to talk about Sydney. And I also would like, because the NDA is way gone at this point, right? So she left. So I want to know what you think about her, but I also would like a little tea behind what you really think she left for.
So here's the thing. It's funny that this comes up because another interview asked me about that and actually shared information with me that I didn't actually know was even happening. This person kind of alluded to the fact that Sydney left was because of like withdrawals of some sort, or like,
Yeah.
I had no idea. Looking back in retrospect, were her behaviors odd? To me, they were a little bit off as far as like wanting to go, but wanting to stay and wanting to go. That was off to me. It's like you either make a decision or you don't. It's either a yes or no. Like you make a decision. The fact that she had a choice to come back, you know, you did it again. Like, now it's over, right? So when it comes to what was asked of me or what was suggested, honest to God, I can't vouch for that because I didn't know in that moment. What did I think of her in the time? I thought she was weak for leaving, as you guys know. That's what I thought about everybody. And then what do I think of her now? I don't really have an opinion because I don't even think we follow each other on social media. The last I heard or saw is that she was living in Texas. But that's really
Doing
it. Like,
well. She's a nurse. Well, she's agreed to do an interview with us, but right now she's in nursing school.
God, that's probably like 18 hours a
So
day.
she doesn't really want to like readdress Bad Girls Club while she's doing that, but she seems to be she seems to be doing well. She was dating Aaron Carter. I don't know if you know that, but she was dating him, and then he recently passed away.
I knew part two. That's
So we're interested in that, but let's move forward. So anybody, who's the next girl, guys?
Well, I have a question, Nikki. Did you expect Corey to turn up the way she did? Because you know, if you look on her from the outside, she doesn't look like a fighter or anyone that you would suspect to kind of stick up for themselves the way she does.
totally. She was definitely a big surprise as far as like being
Yeah.
ferocious. Like, tiny, you know what I mean? Like I would look at her, I'm like, you're tiny, you know? Again, I think a lot of her shift in character, if you will, was definitely fueled by alcohol. She wasn't like that when she was sober at like 10 in the morning. You know what I mean? So I was definitely surprised about that. Am I shocked? No, I think she has a brother. I think she grew up with a brother, so I know she's used to like kind of like tougher, you know, play. But from the outside, like if it were to be Ashley versus her in a fight, I would put my money on Corey actually, because Corey had that older brother vibe and Ashley was just very dainty. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
So we don't have
I
too
think-
much time left, guys. So let's just try and get through the rest of the cast. So next one, let's talk about Char, baby. Like, give us all the tea.
Okay, here's the thing. I like her as a person because she was kind of crazy, but she didn't deny that from minute one. Number two, I don't really like her for this move per se, but she definitely was able to like manipulate a couple people in the house to like be her friend and really kind of sway them a certain way. And again, that's street smarts. You got to respect it whether you like it or not. Of course, being in the house, it was so annoying. It was just every minute of every day was just annoying. And then finally, after the whole pool scene with all my shit was in the pool, it was like, all right, are you good now? Did you get all my stuff? Okay, cool. Now that you paid me back, this is how the house is going to really go. And ever since that situation, it was totally fine. But yeah, no, she hurt a lot of people's feelings. The reunion was not good for a lot of people.
Was
Yep.
there stuff on the reunion we didn't see?
Okay.
Like, give us all of the juice. Like, was there, because I feel like they cut a lot of stuff out of there, because didn't her family run on stage and try and fight everybody?
No.
Well, they showed that in the clip. Like, wasn't it like her old auntie or something? She tried to run up and fight Sydney.
At the end of at like the end of the recording, because there was like a whole cake and stuff, they allowed everyone to kind of run on stage and do whatever as far as like cake throwing went. So in my opinion, that's probably what was seen. I don't even know if I've seen the full edit for the reunion, but no, it was just the only people that like were disagreeing were Sydney and her physically.
Well, let me ask you this about the reunion. Do you think the producers were a little bit pissed off that everybody kind of like was nice to you instead of making you like the villain per usual? Like, was it like their plan didn't go?
I really don't think so. I remember like, and again, this is like a small conversation that happened like after when we went back when we filmed for the reunion and had to do a couple of edits for in between stuff. Um, there was like a joke that was made that was like, and it wasn't even like to me, it was just like me listening. And it was just like more of like, yeah, we didn't see it going this way. Like it was, our season was unexpected as far as like not like seeing it go the way it did. Like at one point when I went in for an interview, they were like, are you gonna stop sending people home? And I was like, oh no. Like I was like, no, we're on 3. Like it was just like they were like, we're running out of people to send. You know what I mean? So production definitely, I don't think they were mad by any means. They were probably just like, again, like it's just,
Yeah.
like at one point they were all sleeping downstairs and I was the only one upstairs. Like how can one person who allegedly isn't running the house have all of you sleeping down? Like I don't understand.
Okay, so let's move on to the next girl. This one, everybody's still curious because we know that you guys are still friends. Kentucky, Lauren.
I love her.
Like, what was your experience? What are your memories? That kind of vibe.
Memories. It was funny because we weren't friends at first, as most of you guys know. Then she just like figured it out. Like she was like, I don't like the way that this is going. She's also a very independent person, so like she would not have ever wanted to be considered like a follower or somebody under her, under Char's wing. So even if she really hated me, she still wouldn't have been under Char because of those reasons. Then we became really good friends and it was kind of just like a BFF, you know what I mean? Like we just like did kind of everything together and loved her then, love her now. Like there's been no variation in our relationship. We try to connect every once in a while in Vegas or Cali. But yeah, we're still really good friends.
Okay, who am I forgetting so far, guys? Is there any like
Jade,
Wilma.
Jade, and Wilma.
Yeah,
Ashley and Corey? Sorry, yeah. So let's start with Ashley.
Ashley, again, we never really got to know each other. She's really good friends, not really good friends, but she's pretty close with Jen, the other replacement. And I'm really good friends with Jen, which is funny because we fought on the show.
Weird, yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. But yeah, no, we're friends in real life, and we both like, I don't want to say like made up, but I like definitely apologize to her for being rude to her on the show. Like I don't hold a grudge against her, or did or anything like that. And I felt like that you needed an apology, and I did. And we saw each other last time was in Vegas. Same thing with like Lauren. But Jen is really good friends with Ashley from what I see on social media. And again, they're like in the same cities a lot of the time, in the same places.
Yeah.
They somewhat have something in common. They have like the
Yeah.
going out to get their eyebrows done, lashes, all that type of stuff.
That's an 8-hour day. I want that to be done as fast as possible. Like that's what
Absolutely.
we go shopping. I'm like, no.
Can we have coffee and then not talk?
No, basically, I love her,
Yeah.
but
So, okay,
no.
what about Wilmarie?
Oh, we're actually friends too. I have not been back to New Jersey in a hot minute, but like when I do go, my plan is actually to go to her her salon. Her and her mom own a salon, actually very close to one of my my godparents' homes. And I've tried to make plans to go see her, but then that Jersey trip fell through. But no, I want to go and support her mom and her business. And we actually, it's a lot of sarcastic memes and very like just like stupid things like BGC related or whatever.
But you guys are good now. Like you kind of like you deaded all of that. Also, another question a lot of fans are asking is like, why didn't you fight back? And was there more really seen? Like, was there more than what we saw?
I feel like there's probably pieces of it that you guys didn't see, and I would have to go back and like really watch it again to remember like piece by piece. But at that point, again, we all knew that if anybody like closed palmed or like punched someone, they were going home. So in a case like that, and it was literally our 3rd fight on the show. I was like, at this point, I know she's going home. I don't care to like actually get busted up for it or have another situation. Okay. Like I didn't need any of this. I was like, I'm good. Like she's out. It was more of like a teaser.
I remember she said, I think it was her who mentioned that the limo fight was way longer than what we saw. Like,
Oh, dude, that limo fight, because yeah, it was only a clip. We were, well, I was 100%. I do not, I remember very little of that. Like, I remember leaving the club, getting into the limo, and having like Jessica's earring on, and then the rest was kind of like spotty. And then I remember being at the hotel, and then the next day being like, man, what the, like, I walked back in the house and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna get jumped or like what's gonna happen, like if it was a full house situation or not. But yeah, that was the whole ride home, literally from Hollywood to our house. Like it was the
is
whole.
it because they couldn't pull over, or was it like just trying to get the best scene that they could get? Like,
I don't know, but I think actually at one point they did pull over. Now that you say that, because I remember one of us get. I don't know if I was pulled over. I went to the hotel, so I don't know if I was pulled out of the limo to go to the hotel from there, or I went back to my house and then got pulled. But we definitely stopped in one of the developments. I remember that on the way home.
and can I
Yeah.
say, like, one of the funniest moments is when Char was like, it is like the smallest state in the world.
Dude, every time.
And, yeah. And you're like, Rhode Island is.
Who fucking says that, bro? We just left a
Yo, that was
nightclub
so
and you're
funny.
drunk, and you're gonna start naming states. Like, is it like even when I saw that like on replay, I'm like, you are so annoying, like straight up.
Oh, are you and your friend still cool? The one that looks just like you? What's
Yeah,
his name?
Daniel. Yep.
Daniel?
He's doing his thing. He's still bopping around, doing his music, doing his construction. He's just like one of those Libras that like does whatever, and like it
He was
really,
a vibe for sure.
he just
Yeah.
enjoys life.
So, is there any more cast that we want to discuss before we get into fan questions and stuff like that?
I was gonna like
I
bring
don't
up
remember anybody else, to be honest.
I'm going to make a cast.
Corey? Sorry, Corey. We forgot Corey.
We did Corey. We talked about her a little bit and just being.
Oh,
Yeah,
what about
is there
Jamie?
anything else you wanted to add, or we're good on that, or
No, I think that's it. I mean, we
Yeah.
talk on media. We're cool in today's world, and like that's that.
well, I
Has
think
it
the
been
thing we
mentioned
do with Bad Girls Positivity is we really want to like shed the light that like these shows were like how long ago? Do you know what I mean? So
Oh
like
my God, it was like 13 years ago.
none of you girls like really hold grudges against each other. But we do it more in the aspect because a lot of the Bad Girls fans are really, really toxic, and like, you know, it's just like calm down.
People will still like send me death threats, and I'm like, oh my God, you need Jesus. Here you go.
I
Like,
didn't even do anything. What?
I'm just living my life.
or they'll like, I'll get like one person, and they'll go to like 18 pictures from literally 6 years ago, and they're like, nah, and I'm like, okay, who hurt you?
So moving forward, I guess quickly because I think it says that we've got about 7 minutes left. So
Yeah.
let's quickly talk about the reunion. How was that for you? Any tea?
Reunion was fine for me. I think it was honestly uneventful, and it was probably one of the most calmest and most uneventful times for me. Because I knew it wasn't really going to be about me. I knew it was going to be Judgment Day for everybody that was roped into doing what Char wanted them to do without wanting them to do it. But like, you chose
That was the
this.
first Tanisha reunion too, wasn't it?
No, we had Perez.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah, I wanted to.
Nisha was in the audience.
She was there. I love her. Like, she was one of the only people that I knew from previous BGCs, like the pots and the pan scene. That was like my
Yeah.
favorite scene.
Yeah. Speaking of
Y'all don't let me sleep because of me.
yeah, speaking of other seasons, have you ever watched like have you ever met any other bad girls from previous seasons? Because I know like you probably met Erica from season 5 and Amber Mead from season 3, correct?
Yes, I have. I'm trying to think. I haven't really met. Actually, no, because of Amber. No, those are the two from that season. Amber, because Amber and Kristen lived together for a short period of time. Kristen, and then Kristen and Kylie and Kaylee lived together for a short period of time. And I knew them because I was living in LA at that time. Tanisha, I had actually went to dinner with I forget who was with us, but I've gone to dinner with her once before. Before my season came out, I met up with Natalie Nunn at a DC club, which was fine, neither here nor there. I think it was really her trying to capitalize more on our new season rather than the other way around. But yeah, no, I haven't really like hung out with anybody.
So I have a question actually going back to Natalie, because I forgot she came on that show or on your season. and Char and everybody was upset about it. Were you and Lauren told to go talk to her? Was that just you guys just being your own person, just wanting to,
we just wanted to talk. Like, why are you here? Like all these people want to assume. Why don't you just ask the question? Stop like,
yeah.
How can you be mad over something you have no idea? If I don't like her answer, at that point, it's my decision to determine if I like her or not. So Lauren and I were just like, let's go.
Right.
So I think that we've done the whole cast. We have about 4 minutes. Have you ever been asked to do anything other than like American Warrior Ninja? Like, have you ever been asked to do the challenge? Because I think for all of us fans, like, I think we would love to see you on that show.
It's so funny. First of all, thank you so much for the compliment. Lauren actually tweeted about that like a couple months ago, and I don't ever really go on Twitter, like on my phone if I'm bored or if I'm in the airport or whatever. Would I do something like that? Totally. Like I said, my life is in a different place now. Like athleticism, my entire career is based on that. I would totally do something like the challenge just because like my favorite people came from the challenge. And fun fact, Rachel, like one of the OGs from the challenge.
You're her, right?
What was that?
You're friends with Rachel, right?
Yeah, well, I'm acquaintances with her. Like I wouldn't call her like my best friend, and I don't want to like overstep that boundary. But I know her and her wife pretty well. And I used to take some of Rachel's Barry's boot camp classes when I was living in Miami. So the respect is there, but I would totally do something like that because it would be fun. Somebody
You
else
would kill it.
Thank you so much. Somebody else was a Big Brother, and I was like, yeah, I don't think it would be fun enough for me to do, but I could do it. But
so
Nikki, this is like kind
sorry
of
guys, our
back,
time is wrapping up. We have about 3 minutes left. So let's just do like a rapid round, or if there's anything you guys really want to know, but we've got 3 minutes.
Nikki, I have one more question for you. Do you feel like this is like going back to Sydney? Do you feel like if she wasn't relevant to the show, she would be able to come back twice? Because you don't really see bad girls being able to just come back and forth like that. You know what I mean?
Totally. I think at that point also, kind of piggybacking off what I was saying earlier, they didn't have like a ton of replacements lined up. You know what I mean? When you go into a show with 7 people or whatever it was, you don't have 7 more lined up. You have like 2. So by week 2, when 3 of them are gone, they're like, okay, why don't we just bring her back? And so probably a convenience factor.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to add before we wrap it up?
No, just thank you so much for having me. Obviously, like life is crazy.
What are you up to now? Actually, let's talk about that.
Yeah, no, I finally got my pro card, so I am a professional bodybuilder. I'm also a personal trainer. I work for a major bodybuilding team in the bodybuilding world, Team Elite Physique, and I'm a coach with them. So I am fully immersed in fitness. My husband and I patented an Epsom salt product, which will be launching in actually about 2 weeks' time. So Absolution is going to be hitting the Amazon shelves very soon. And yeah, so just doing the damn thing.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So much years later, my God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm really into fitness and my clients and coaching and yeah.
Well, I think
thanks for being
from all of like from the fan base and just like as an interviewer, I just want to say like it's really cool to see the growth that you've made.
Thank you.
Like you were definitely like one of those people that you can see the growth, and we appreciate the fact you did an interview with us, because once again, this is more to like shed light on like how much you've grown, and you literally you're doing what needs to be. The assignment was understood. You know what I mean? So let's all drop our Instagrams. So mine is at the real Darcy Daniel. And Nikki, what's yours?
Mine is at the Nikki G Show, NIKKI.
Mine is _ oh so you red with 2 T's.
Mine just BGC Girls Inc. And then before we wrap up, you know how to save this, right? Darcy? Like
yep. I just press the stop recording button and then it'll convert it for me and then I'll send it over to you.
Thank you, Nikki.
Thank you,
Nikki. Honestly, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for doing this. You're beautiful, and I hope that you just continue to like grow and prosper, and I hope God blesses you.
Thank you so much, guys. Happy Monday and have a great week.
All right.
Okay. All right. Bye.